Next up, prospect war number 4. Two guys that went number 4 overall. They are, I believe, the same age. I'm going to check that. One of them is born August 26th, 2001. The other one was born August 19th, 2000. So actually, they're not the same age. There's a year difference here. And the guy that's older was just drafted this year. It is Keegan Murray versus Patrick Williams. Pat Williams is fascinating. And like, this is just so interesting because like Pat Williams in college was a 6th man. Keegan Murray in college, like, should have won National Player of the Year last year and was like unbelievable. Right. And was the do everything guy for Iowa and like had the ball on every single possession. Patrick Williams enters the NBA at 19 years old and has to like fight for his, just to like get his sea legs under him in the NBA. Right. Keegan Murray gets to developmentally expand his game in a slow, steady way that just kind of shows that there are like different ways, right? Like there are such different ways to reach the same end goal. These guys literally reach the same end goal in terms of the NBA draft going forth overall. Both about 6'8", both about 235 pounds, let's say. I don't know. Keegan's listed lower, and I think Pat Williams is listed lower, but both these guys, like, they look like they're like 230, not 215, right?
They're big dudes. They are big, thick, like wide-shouldered dudes.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So, Keegan Murray or Patrick Williams, who would you take moving forward? Adam Spinella.
So I am probably going to go against the consensus on this one. I'm taking Patrick Williams.
Okay.
And to me, it comes into the question is about where you're hopping into the market, right? This is pre any NBA game footage from Keegan Murray, a little bit in summer league. We haven't seen exactly what he's going to be able to do. So I believe this is the first conversation we've had tonight about a rookie.
It is. Yeah. I'll be honest. Like, I didn't really want to do rookies when we did this. We have another one with a rookie that I think is just fun, but yeah, like I wasn't an enormous fan of like getting rookies in here because I wanted to do more prospects, but we did it anyway because these two matchups were just too fun.
Well, and I think that's what makes this really challenging for some people is where is Keegan Murray really going to end up? If you believe that he's going to be the exact same player we saw in Summer League, take Keegan Murray over Patrick Williams every single time. If you think that there might be some scalable issues at the NBA level, he's just not going to have the ball in his hands as much as he did at Iowa or this summer, then there might be a reason to take Patrick Williams. The reason I'm high on Patrick Williams is, quite frankly, the flashes that we saw from him at the end of the season. I have been hearing since the summer after he was drafted, hang on, he's taken a step. He's so much better with the ball in his hands. He can create in ways that, we haven't really seen before from him in college. And I never believed it was actually going to come, but over the course of the final few games of the regular season last year, when he got healthy and the playoffs, I thought it really got there. Final 6 games of the regular season, 16 points, 6 boards, 1.5 assists, made 10 threes in 6 games and finished the regular season with a 35-4-4 night. That was pretty much it to me. I think part of the reason Pat Will is underutilized as an offensive piece is because of the team that he plays on. That Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan are very demanding of on-ball reps. You've got to utilize Vucevic when he's there. And what Pat Will doesn't do as well as everybody else is space the floor. I think he can be an adequate shooter, but the value to me is him being just a physical driver when he's attacking north-south that can just run guys over. And I value that. I value that explosiveness. I value the playmaking that I think is going to come with it. I am anticipating a Patrick Williams breakout over the next year or two, and that's why I'm going with him.
So this is a great question because I don't know. This is the one where I didn't know what to do.
Okay.
coming in. You had the last one. I leaned Halliburton coming into the conversation, and I leaned it coming out. This is the one where I just didn't know what to do whenever we were talking. And you bring up the idea of he dropped 2 20-point playoff games as well. Like, this is the thing. Like, I know that they were, the fourth game, particularly in that series against Milwaukee, was a blowout, but like, he was really good in that playoff series. I thought he played well and showcased some of the things that you were looking for. In Chicago, do you think we're going to see the best out of Patrick Williams? Because a lot of what you're saying in terms of like role, Vucevic likes to be in that mid-post area. Obviously, DeMar is going to dominate that mid-post area. I feel like this is something, again, that we talked about on the win-loss or the win total over-unders podcast with Robbie Calland. I do feel like they should move Vucevic because I feel like it's hard to make all of their more important pieces work with Vucevic's presence there. Plus, he's not adding a crazy amount defensively to the equation here. So I'd be interested to see what it looks like with Pat Williams if they were able to move him. Yeah, I mean, Pat Williams, it does just kind of come down to the shot for like both of these guys. I feel like Pat Williams, made 39% of his threes his rookie year, made 52% last year in like that limited sample size. And then in the playoffs, made 33% over those 5 games. Like, and then same with Keegan. Like, do we just believe Keegan's jump shot, like, unequivocally, right? If I made you pick, which jump shot do you believe in more right now? I think I would pick Keegan Murray
by a hair. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I would pick Keegan Murray. I think that I trust Keegan's ability to like get leverage on people. I think Pat Williams is stronger than Keegan, but I think Keegan's like frame, Pat has those like bolder shoulders, whereas Keegan is like has more just like a great like strength throughout his torso and like his lower half, and like he can just kind of move guys, and he knows how to get leverage on guys as a driver, not just as a post player either.
Right. Yeah. The way I think about it is Patrick Williams is better at initiating contact when he's already moving towards the rim. Keegan is the type of guy that's never going to get bumped off of his spots if a defender initiates contact with him.
Yeah. Oh man. This is so like reasonable expectations for this season would be like 15-5 and like 2 or 3 for Keegan, 15-5 and 2 maybe for Keegan. And then like, what is your expectation for Pat Williams, do you think? Because he plays on a better team, obviously. And like, the role will be different. Obviously, again, a guy that is going to be best driving to the basket, but maybe doesn't get as many opportunities there.
Yeah, I think, statistically like 14, 5 and 1.5 is probably a solid year. But as I was attacking this exercise, I'm thinking about roster construction, blank slate. Who are we taking on our team and finding ways to plug into a style that we can build around? I think Keegan is very scalable next to a lot of really good players. I think Patrick Williams has the ability to turn into a really, really good player. And that was the slight difference for me. I think there's still more untapped upside for him than for Keegan.
I like Pat a little bit more defensively.
Yep.
I think he's just a bit stronger. I think he moves just a little bit better than Keegan does. I think that he uses his length a little bit better off the ball. I think that Keegan is a better ball handler, just a more functional, like tighter handle in terms of being able to create shots. I think this is another one of those, like I mentioned this in the Anthony Edwards, Scotty Barnes conversation. Like, I think that like the median outcome for Keegan Murray is probably higher than Pat Williams' median outcome. I think Pat's ceiling, I think he's a better athlete and like just has a little bit better of a frame than Keegan. And that if that comes together, his ceiling is probably higher than Keegan's. What does that mean in terms of which one that I take?
Yeah.
I don't think either of these guys are like number one options long term.
Oh.
I think I would go Keegan just by a hair. I don't know. This is a hard. These two are razor thin. This is really, I think that in this circumstance, given that I don't think either of these guys will be number one options, I think I would take the guy that I think is a little bit more certain to be like a really good number 3 or number 4 in Keegan than Pat. But I think Pat has a higher upside if it all goes right.
Yeah. And I think that's really fair. The flip side of the coin for me is that the tie goes to the guy who's already been in the league. That there's still a little bit of uncertainty with Keegan Murray of what he's actually going to look like on an NBA floor surrounded by other highly talented NBA players, where we don't have that with Pat.
But like with Pat, we've only really seen like a 15-game sample of him being like really good. You know, like his rookie season was fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then like that late season push for Pat was like the part, right? I don't know, man. I think Keegan by a hair for the reasons I said, but that's a good one. That's a really good toss-up one.